Hello, welcome to our Baking Through Lent series. My name is Reverend Nikki Pennington, and this is week 3 of our Baking Through Lent, when we remember some of the special stories that we think about during Lent and Easter. I wonder if there's a meal, a really special meal that you can remember. Maybe it was a meal that you shared with people you cared about. Haven't really been able to meet together with family and friends at the moment, have we? So maybe this meal happened some time ago. Might have been a birthday celebration or a family occasion like a wedding or a christening. Maybe it was Christmas dinner. I wonder if you can remember the food that you ate at that meal. This week in our Baking Through Lent series, we're thinking about a special meal that Jesus shared with his friends in the last week of his life. It was Passover. Passover was a special festival for the Jews. They would all gather together in Jerusalem and give thanks to God for saving them, rescuing them from their time of slavery in Egypt hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And part of that festival was a special meal that they shared together. And in that meal, there were special dishes that reminded them of their experiences in Egypt. They would have a dish of bitter herbs to remind them of the hardness and the pain of slavery. They would drink salt water to remind them of the tears they shed. And they would have a special meal, a dish called haraseth, which was like chopped apples with nuts and wine, all mashed together. And also, they would have a very hard cracker-like type bread called matzos. When they were leaving Egypt, they didn't have time to prepare bread in the usual way. They couldn't leave it to rise. So they ate what they called unleavened bread, and it became very hard and dry and crisp. Every year, the Jews would gather and share this special Passover meal together. In the last week of Jesus' life, Jesus and his friends travelled to Jerusalem. They wanted to celebrate Passover. Jesus told Peter and John to go and get things ready for the meal. They did exactly as Jesus asked, and they sat down on Maundy Thursday round a table to share this special meal. And as they ate the meal, they remembered how God had looked after them, how he had set them free. They followed all the special instructions for the meal. They ate those bitter herbs to help them remember the bad times of slavery. They ate lamb, drank grapes, and ate the unleavened bread. And then Jesus did something really special, something they never forgot. He took the unleavened bread and he broke it into pieces, and he gave it to his friends, and he said, "This is my body which is given for you. Do this in memory of me." At the end of the meal, he took a cup of wine and did the same. He shared it with his friends and said, "Drink this and remember me." The disciples wondered what he meant. Then Jesus told them something that was really sad. He said, "Someone who's sitting here at this table and sharing our meal together is going to betray me." The disciples looked at one another. They couldn't believe that any one of them would do such an awful thing to Jesus. But Jesus and Judas knew who he was talking about. And at that point, Judas left the room to go and put his plan into action. Today, for our baking project, we're going to make something a little bit like that sweet dish we were hearing about, haraseth, with sweet apples. It would have been a dish that Jesus and his disciples would have eaten, that last meal. We changed it slightly, and we're making something called apple blondies. Blondie's like a pale brownie without the chocolate, but it tastes just as good. So, to make this, you're going to need the following ingredients. You'll need some apple sauce, some butter, some flour, maple syrup, and some brown sugar. I've added some walnuts to mine, but it's up to you. If you don't like walnuts, you can leave them out. You need to get all of the ingredients together and mix them up in a bowl. This looks a little bit like the kind of mortar that the slaves in Egypt would have used to put the bricks together, isn't it? When it's all combined together, the next thing you need to do is put it into a loaf tin. That's it. You might just want to even it out so that it spreads right through the tin. And then, making sure that you've warmed up your oven, you're going to put it in the oven to bake it for about 30 minutes, or until the top is nice and golden brown. And once it's cooled, you take it out the oven and you can cut it up into little chunks that look a little bit like the bricks that the Jews had to make for their Egyptian masters. Don't do this, but I am. That tastes really nice. So, I'd love to see your pictures of your apple blondies. I'll post what mine look like at the end of this little film. Upload your pictures onto our Facebook post and share with us what you've done. When you eat your apple blondie, you might like to have a bit of time to think about some of these questions. Can you think of any times when God has helped you, when things have been really hard and difficult for you? Can you think of any struggles or disappointments you've had that you've managed to get over and rise above? Maybe you'd like to end your thinking time by saying a prayer to God, thanking Him for being with you and helping you when times were difficult. So have fun making your apple blondies. And next week, I think it's Reverend Becky's turn. She might be making something rather chocolatey.